Hey guys, it's your boy Damien, and I'm back to do my second video for the night. Um, I'm gonna get caught up. I got all my notes together, and I'm gonna knock these out like real quick. So, uh, this is my review for Dancing with the Stars, season 25, week 6, which was A Night at the Movies, and this was last Monday. First of all, I want to say the opening routine, choreographed by Mandy Moore, was really nice. It was cute for what it was. Nothing more to say about that. The guest judge this week was Shania Twain. I'm not gonna lie, she was a little bit of a hot mess. She was all over the place with scoring. And I felt like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. If you're gonna be a guest judge, and if you don't have a dance background, like I don't think she has a dance background, speak to what you know. The best example I can give to you is, even though she does have dance experience, is like on So You Think You Can Dance, when people like Christina Applegate or Jenna Elfman or even Jessie Tyler Ferguson used to guest judge. They speak to more about performance and how they personally feel. Don't go out of your way to try to sound like you know what's going on. Just say, oh well, that performance was really nice and I enjoyed it, or related to what you do. Like there's a lot of music. She's a singer, so just like I appreciate the musicality and the flow or whatever. I felt like she didn't really know how to formulate what she felt, and sometimes she just kind of like, her comment just kind of like tapered off, and they would just move on to Bruno. So, hey, it is what it is. The performance. She was lip syncing. I noticed she was lip syncing like crazy. I was kind of like, what is going on? But I guess she has a new album coming out, or a new single. So, hey, whatever you got to do to promote that, cool on you. But let's get this knocked out. First up, last week was Nikki and Artem, and they had an Argentine tango. And this was A Night at the Movies, the theme. Their theme was foreign, and they had an Argentine tango. And I would just say, the last few times they've done this theme night, anybody that gets foreign usually gets Argentine tango, because obviously it's from Argentina. I think they can switch it up a little bit. Like, you know, I could say they could do salsa and say it's from Mexico or one of those Latin American countries, or they can say like paso from Spain. This is just a thought. But anyways, I really like this Argentine tango from Nikki and Artem. It was strong. It was a little sexy. I'm gonna keep making this comment especially with Nikki, because the dancing is okay, not great, not bad. The thing I always harp about with her is performance, and I thought this week she had awesome moments where she was just like, I would describe it as times when like Artem would come behind her and she would take a breath and exhale, and it fit what was happening throughout the dance. So I'm very proud of her when it comes to that. I still feel like she does not let Artem lead. Sometimes it feels like she's a strong girl. So sometimes I don't think she just kind of relaxes into it and let Artem take her where she needs to go. She kind of takes herself there, and that's not how ballroom dancing is supposed to be. So it comes off a little jerky sometimes, and I think they had a little off balance part. I think that's because of the 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 fight, not in like a physical way, but um, overall, it was a really, really nice Argentine tango. They got 9s from all the judges for a score of 36. I would have given it a 9 too, because I liked it. Side note, the song that they danced to, I don't know the artist, but it's like a French song. They actually danced to that song on So You Think You Can Dance this season. A wonderful jazz routine for the All Stars, choreographed by the incredible Brian Friedman. If you can, I would recommend you look that dance up and tell me what you think about it. Because Jasmine Harper, that is my queen. I love her. And she was like in the first part of it. It's amazing. And Jenna was in it, and Allison, and Gabby Diaz, and Comfort, and the guys. So awesome job. Up next, we had Drew and Emma, and they did a Paso Doble, and their movie genre was action. Just to clarify, I just rewatched all these dances. And I didn't get to take notes last week, so I had to take notes to do the video. And I thought the routine, it started off really strong. Where it went wrong was when he was dancing with the troupe behind him. He was off, and it was like very noticeable. I felt like after that, I think the dance kind of got away from them. But every week, his energy is always great, and he's going to give it to you full force. And I always appreciate that. So it was okay. It was okay for them. It wasn't like horrible. It wasn't like I wasn't cringing the whole time, but it could have been better. I got a 7 from Carrie Ann, a 7 from Len, a 9 from Shania. Okay. And a 7 from Bruno for a score of 30. I would have given it an 8. Because he did mess up. He did mess up, but it wasn't like a horrible dance to me. Up next, we had Nick and Peta, and they did a samba. It was supposed to be Western themed because they danced to Wild Wild West by Will Smith featuring Drew Hill. Okay, I will say this. I rewatched the dance, and it wasn't as bad as I initially thought it was. It didn't have the technique was not great. But I thought he seemed like he was enjoying it for the most part. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Didn't have a lot of bounce. The parts where he was like doing his own thing and the troupe was behind him, I felt like that was the better part of the dance. I will say the costuming. The costuming was definitely steampunk inspired. Apologize. Steampunk inspired. Kind of like to me, Peter was kind of dressed like one of my favorite wrestlers, Becky Lynch. And overall, it was okay. It's a typical Nick dance. And that's all I can say about it. They got a 7 from Carrie Ann, a 6 from Len, a 7 from Shania, and a 6 from Bruno for a score of 26. I would have given it a 7-6, whatever, doesn't matter. It was an okay dance. Up next, we had Victoria and Val, and they had a Paso Doble, and their genre was sports. The direction they decided to go was, to me, it was Mighty Ducks inspired, which is one of my favorite movies. Funny story, I actually saw the Mighty Ducks I want to say I was probably like about 8. Um, and back home in Trinidad, they show 2 movies. They show like you watch a movie and there's like intermission, and then you watch another movie. And I actually saw The Mighty Ducks with The Lion King. I saw both of those movies together. Um, it was really awesome. Um, I would say for this dance, I didn't take a lot of notes for it. I thought the dance was okay. Uh, it had a lot of paso. There's a lot of paso inspired choreography. Um, Overall, I just the last 2 weeks with Victoria and Val, I feel very underwhelmed by the routine as a whole. The themes they've been getting as a whole. Um, I don't know if it's. I won't blame Val for it. I'm just kind of okay with it, and I really like her. Um, I say this every week, but her spirit is amazing, and she's gonna give 100% no matter what. Overall, okay. They got a 8 from Carrie Ann, an 8 from Len, a 7 from Shania, and an 8 from Bruno. I would have given it an 8, just because it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. It was good. They did everything they were supposed to, and I didn't see any like big mistakes. Up next we had Terrell and Cheryl, and they did a jive, and their movie genre was spy. I really like this dance. I think I've watched this dance probably I want to say about 20 times since last week. First of all, I love that song. Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. I thought Terrell did an amazing job. I should say Cheryl did an amazing job with the choreography. I will say, looking at the dance a few times, all those times, it was very kind of like start stop. Like they would stop dancing and move to the next position, like when they went through the door to the other side, and then they got back into position and started dancing again. But overall, it didn't bother me because they were. I think this is one of the best representations of a story throughout that I really felt. Let's see. I agree with Len said something. Len said something that I really agree with Terrell, especially for this dance, is that like he has a naturalness about him. Like the dance doesn't feel like forced. It doesn't feel forced like with Nick. Sorry to make a comparison, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels very natural, and he just kind of oozes into the performance was high, really high for him. This was his best dance, and I'm really proud of him. This partnership has grown immensely. I don't know if the public's necessarily got his back like I would hope they would. I think mainly because of the early weeks, but he's improving. He's definitely doing a great job. He got a 9 from Carrie Ann, a 9 from Len, a 10 from Shania, and a 9 from Bruno for a score of 37. A few people were a little upset at the 10. Because I really like this dance, I wasn't bothered by it. Now, if one of the other judges gave it a 10, I would have been kind of like, a bit much. But if Shania, being not a dancer, giving it a 10, it worked for me. I would have given it a 9. Up next, we had Frankie and Whitney, and they had a jazz, and their genre was animation. I think the dance was supposed to be the costuming was inspired from Trolls, which is not Disney. It's DreamWorks. they're not related companies. My first question when I saw this was, why jazz? I'm not gonna I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm not a big fan of jazz on Dancing with the Stars in general. I mean, I went back and I've looked up some jazz routines that I really, really like. One that I will mention is Jacoby Jones and Karina from season 16. I think it was week 2, and they had a jazz to Five Guys Named Mo. Even that night, Kelly Pickler and Derek had a jazz, but that was more like contemporary jazz to Lights by Ellie Goulding. I love those routines, but in general, I'm not a big fan of jazz on Dancing with the Stars. I didn't get it. He messed up a lot. But I will say that Frankie works really hard, and his energy, he was giving a performance during it. Even when he was messing up, he wasn't like, ugh. He was kind of like, he was still doing it, but he messed up. I didn't like the song either. I was like, the song was weird to me. That knee spin. It was hard to watch, and hard to watch again. This is about like 30 minutes ago. I will say I love what Whitney said in the the red room when Aaron was like, "What you gonna do to get him out of his hand?" She was like, "I don't know. Maybe I have to give him one of those mushrooms." And then she thought about what she said. She was like, "Oh my God, why did I say that?" It made me like, cause Whitney. I love Whitney and Lindsay. They can sometimes they kind of say little, they're not stupid girls at all, but sometimes they say things and it comes across a little ditzy. But hey, that's the charm of both of them. Up next we had Vanessa and Max, and they did a quick step. Their movie genre was musical. I love the song that they danced to. I love Vanessa's performance. This brought me back to one of the reasons why she was an early favorite for me, is that she has the thing that Nikki is improving with, but it's not there 100%. Is that like she throughout the performance, whatever emotion needs to be portrayed, she'll go like woo, she'll go like woo, and she'll be like smile and giving like winks and stuff like that. She embodies that throughout the dance, and that's very impressive for her. I will say they got all 9s from the judges, which was a little surprising for me from Len, because they broke the rules. The quick step rules is that you can do a little bit of freeform at the beginning and a little bit at the end, but the majority of the dance has to be in closed hold position, and they broke hold in the middle to do the little chair section with the 2 girls. So I think a point should be deducted for that. Just my personal opinion, but this was way better than Disney Night for them. I still feel a little tension between them, but it is what it is for that. Now I'm going to mention this. This is just my personal opinion. If the rumors are true, that they were not getting along, and Max was uninterested and not giving them great choreography, I will say this to Max: I'm very disappointed. At the end of the day, you are a professional and you are getting paid to do a job. I don't care if you don't like Vanessa and you're not getting along. Do your job. Whether you think you're going to win or not, give her the best choreography that you can give her. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay? Um, Up next, we had Jordan and Lindsay, and they had a rumba. Their genre was drama. Um, I say this about Jordan: he's the best male dancer this season. Point blank. Period. There's like nothing. He doesn't do anything like completely wrong. You know, he's great. He's great, and he's always going to be great. And every week he's going to, whether the dance or the theme every week is going to be fantastic is irrelevant. He's going to do a good job. The choreography was great. I think the best technique for a rumba of any of the guys would give. The choreography by Lindsay is phenomenal. She's a smart girl. She's an awesome girl. She's a really good choreographer. She highlights strengths. That's because she is trained by Mark and Shirley Ballas. That's two of her biggest influences. The training's there. And the arm thing that Len mentioned, I looked back at it and it was like, maybe because I'm not a dancer and I'm not that well versed in ballroom, it didn't bother me too much. But whatever. They got a 10 from Carrie Ann, a 9 from Len, a 10 from Shania, and a 10 from Bruno for a score of 39. It could have been a perfect score, but it is what it is. And to close out the night, we had Lindsey Sterling and Mark, and they had an Argentine tango. Their movie genre was sci-fi. God damn it. The best dance of the season, in my opinion. Absolute best dance of the season. She's great. First of all, Mark Ballas. I will sing his praises to the high heavens. He is, he's an amazing choreographer. The way to blend concept and content is awesome. Lindsay was awesome. Her flexibility is out of control. I think one time he did like a dip with her, and her leg came up, and I think her leg touched the back of her head, or really close to it. Phenomenal dance. This is another dance I watched a bunch of times. The makeup. I think Bruno mentioned it. It was like reminded me of Ex Machina. The choreography department, the lighting, the song was very haunting for Argentine tango. And I don't think any of my friends have really highlighted this, but major props to Jenna and Haley, who were Lindsay's fellow cyborg girls. They added to the routine but did not take away anything from Lindsay. Just awesome job. They got a perfect score from 10s from all the judges, and just absolutely great. And then at the end of the night, Nick and Peter were eliminated. It was time for them to go. I think one of my friends said he was probably like the worst boy bander to ever be on the show. I can't speak to that very much, but he's gone now, and that's enough to say about that. I will say the last video I did not get to mention that Sasha and Gleb got eliminated Disney night, but yeah. But that's basically what happened last week. Any comments, please feel free to leave them. Any suggestions, you can do that. I might not I take criticism pretty well, so any critiques, feel free to leave those as well. And I will see y'all back in a few minutes with my week 7 recap. Have a good night.